Hello and welcome to another episode of From the Green Room. I'm Brian Zellmer, Director of KU Presents at Kutztown University, and I'm coming to you from our Green Room in Schaefer Auditorium. You're always invited to be part of this conversation, whether you're tuning in via YouTube or through Facebook. Just put your remarks or questions into the comments section and we'll try to get to them during the show. Before we begin, I just want to give a quick thanks to everybody who participated in our Arts Live series last month. It was a lot of fun celebrating the return of live performances here at KU and getting to see so many faces back here on campus. So thanks for those who tuned in either online or came in person. We really enjoyed having you here and we can't wait to see you again next semester. So today's exciting discussion will be about the Kumu, the KU Marching Unit, which I know very little about, so I'm really excited to learn about it. And before we get into it, I just have a little intro. The Kutztown University Marching Unit, affectionately known as Kumu, is the marching band at Kutztown University led by Dr. Daniel Neuenschwander. And before we get Dr. Neuenschwander on here, let's just take a minute to look at a video clip of Kumu from a recent video they did in the fall. Hello, Dr. Neuenschwander. How are you? Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Hi, Brian. You can call me Dan. Don't worry about it.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Before we get into Kumu, I just wanted to have the audience have a chance to get to know you a little bit about your background and how it is you came to lead Kumu.
Oh, sure. Well, thanks. I'm actually originally from Wisconsin. I grew up in Wisconsin. I did my undergraduate in music education at UW-Madison. Had a great time there. From there, I moved to Ohio and I pursued a master's in trombone performance at the University of Akron. And then from there, I taught for 6 years in the public schools of Ohio, outside of Youngstown, Ohio, in a town called Canfield. And then after that, I went to the University of Illinois, where I did my work on my EDD, my educational doctorate, with an emphasis in music. And I was on faculty there for 2 years. I was the assistant director of the Marching Illini, which is probably, you could be safe to say, it's one of the oldest, if not the oldest, collegiate marching band in the United States. And then after being there for 2 years, I was offered a position here at Kutztown University in Iowa State, and I chose to come to Kutztown, where I've been the director of the marching band ever since the fall of 2008, actually.
Wow, that's a long time. That's great. Oh, and Patrick said he's your,
Yep.
you're his professor. So Kumu, the marching unit, is it just like any other marching band, or from what I understand, it's a little bit unique? What makes Kumu stand out from any other marching bands that we may think of?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's Kumu is kind of unique around here, maybe because this area, I don't know if you know this, is very heavily drum corps. So drum corps is a huge influence. And out in the Midwest, where I come from, collegiate marching band is a little bit different. They usually learn a show every week or every new football game. Here we learn one show and we do it for the entire year. We do a pregame, much like we do out in the Midwest, like we did out in the Midwest. But so that was something that was new. We added a pregame show, so we do that for every home game. We do the same routine essentially to the same music and stuff like that. But I think the real thing is I like to really think of us as a a pep band. We're here to support the community that is Kutztown University. That's our community. That's what our students do. So we go there to support the football team. We play all the time as much as possible. We perform pregame. We perform at halftime. We perform postgame. I think, I don't know if we're really totally unique from the collegiate experience, but I think everybody likes to view Kutztown as unique in the sense that we call ourselves a family. It's really one huge family out in the field.
That's cool. So you mentioned that drumline is pretty popular around here, but so can you just tell us what is the makeup of Kumu? Like what kind of instruments? And it's not just musicians that are part of Kumu too, I understand.
Right, exactly. Now, well, Kumu is really great. The instruments that we have involved are pretty standardized across the United States. We have flutes, we have clarinets, we have saxophones, we have trumpets, we have mellophones, which are horns, but for marching. We have trombones, baritones, tubas, and we have snare drums, bass drums, cymbals, tenors. We have a front ensemble, which has a lot of stuff. It can be almost anything, but it's a lot of the mallet instruments or keyboard instruments, so xylophone, bells, marimbas, vibraphone, and then also auxiliary percussion such as timpani when we need it, extra bass drums when we need it, cymbals, everything like that. It's really a potpourri, you could say, of percussion in the front. And then we also have Colorguard, which is a mixture of people that do flags and people that specialize in weapons. And then we also have twirlers. So I guess in some respects, Kumu is one of the few marching bands or collegiate marching bands that uses twirlers. It doesn't seem to be as popular so much around here as it, and by around here, I mean the East Coast a little bit, as it is in other places like down south in the SEC and stuff like that, where you see twirlers a lot. So
has twirlers always been a part of Kumu?
Since I've been here, yes, they have been. So I don't know what before, but I think, yes, they were before. I know our guard instructor, Tammy Jandrasitz, is actually a graduate of KU and was a member of Kumu under Dr. Rapp. And I don't know if you know Will Rapp at all, but when Dr. Will Rapp used to be the director of the marching band, she used to twirl for him. So they have been around for quite a while.
Wow. So you mentioned a ton of instruments. So how big is Kumu? It's a massive unit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really... This is very interesting because before the pandemic, right, we were averaging between 150 and 160 students. But then the pandemic this last year, I think our numbers settled right around 98. So this next year, I'm hoping to get back to at least 130. I would love to be at 150 to 160. But that really depends on how well the students come back to participating right away. You know, and as we talked about earlier with the governor's new guidelines, maybe we'll see more students being willing to come back on the marching field.
Now, do you have to be a music major or a music minor to participate?
No, I think that's one of the great things about Kumu here is in any of the ensembles, not just marching band, but any of the ensembles here from the KU Department of Music, you don't have to be a music major. It's open to every single student who goes to school here at Kutztown University. And we even have students who can do, since we have an agreement with RAC, the Reading Area Community College, we have some students from RAC that have participated in marching band before too.
That's great. So what is it that attracts the non-music majors to want to be part? I mean, this is such a big commitment. Maybe we should talk about the commitment. I mean, for 150 people or whatever the size group is, it's a lot of people to coordinate schedules and everything else, I can imagine.
Yes, it is. But we usually, I think commitment is a great word to use. We have a band camp which takes place in August, and even before band camp, if you want to be a member of the drumline, because we have so many people that want to do drumline, we have so many people that want to do color guard. We do auditions to make sure that we have enough people. We don't want those sections to dominate the entire marching band, so we do auditions in the end of spring of the year previous, and also during the summer. As an example, this summer we're doing video auditions for the percussion, and we're also doing video auditions for the color guard. So that's a commitment. And then during band camp, which starts usually 2 weeks before school, that's 12 hours a day. We ask the students to stay on campus. They don't have to stay on campus. If they're living at home, they can live at home. We try to encourage students to be on campus. And if a student is living a long ways away and they want to come to KU and they can't get into their dorm or they can't get into their apartment, we have been able to work out ways in the past. I don't know what's going to happen this year with the pandemic, but we've been able to do that. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we rehearse basically from 3 to 4:30 every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And on Fridays, we usually go until the first week of October. We usually go to 5:30, so it's a little bit extended there. And then we play for every home football game. And as far as I know, we're going to have football games again this fall. So that the students are really looking forward to that. They really enjoy the opportunity to perform at the football games. And we perform off campus as well. So there is a big time commitment there. But most of the students that do marching band are used to that from their high school commitments. In high school, often you have to put more time in than we do here at KU.
Okay. I was going to ask what the transition is like going from high school and how you maybe assist the new incoming freshmen or whatever coming into Kumu.
Sure. The transition, it varies from year to year. We do get some students that decide that being in college marching band is too much of a change. They can't handle it their first year, but that's very rare. Most students stick it out and they find out that it's actually a very enjoyable situation. It is different from high school. It moves much faster, for the most part, expectations. And we also try to bring in the freshmen, or we call them newbies, because we have people that are sophomores and juniors who haven't marched in Kumu before, and they join us their sophomore or junior year. So we bring them along with the freshmen, and we have a newbies camp, which is usually about a day and a half before everybody else comes back. So they get a chance to learn to be with the drum majors and the section leaders all by themselves, so they can learn some of the basics and how we do things before all the veterans come back. So they hopefully feel more comfortable by the time the veterans return.
You mentioned the practices outside in the summer. I know driving by, I've seen some of these massive groups of people practicing, and I noticed that you have a lot of it looks like loose students leading a lot of different things. What are the leadership opportunities like available for the students? Is it people that have been doing it for many years, or are they all staff?
No, it's a great question. For the most part, it is. Our staff, we do have a staff, and those staff this year, actually for the last couple of years, very happy to say is everybody is a graduate of Kutztown University, and at one time or another has marched with the marching unit. So it's really a great thing. We're very fortunate in that sense. But talking about student leadership, all the students that are in a leadership role with a title, because we have this saying in Kumu that you don't need to have a title to be a leader, but the ones that have titles, like our actual section leaders, they're people that have been in the organization for at least a year. Our drum majors, you have to be in the organization for at least 2 years before the students vote for that. And the students vote for all that. The students, I don't select the drum majors and I don't select the section leaders. That's all voted on by the students who make up the organization, because they're the ones who are going to have to follow them. They're the ones that are going to have to work with them, all that time. So I want it to be as organic, and they have to learn to choose the people that they can follow, the people that they can listen to. So it's very fortunate in that. But like I said, we have this saying in Kumu that you don't need to have a title in order to be a leader. We expect everybody to serve as a role model. And I would say our section leaders are more role models than they are leaders, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Just so you know, I don't know if you're aware, but every week we have a question submitted by a commercial music student. And this week, the question for you is, how do you pick the music Kumu will perform, particularly using today's popular music for a group that some might only associate with traditional marches?
Sure. That's a great question. I think Kumu is a little bit unique in this sense, is I actually allow the students to choose our show. So what we do is the staff gets together, and I take suggestions from the students as well, but we usually come up with a list of 3 to 5 or 6 shows that we like to, concepts. As an example, our show for 2021 is going to be called KU Flight 2021. So it's, everybody's ecstatic about coming back to marching. So it's trying to capture the excitement of going on a trip via airplane. So the music we're choosing this year is actually all original composition done by our arranger, J.R. Trimp, who lives in Michigan, and he is actually writing music that evokes the feeling of being in an airplane or whatever. So if you've ever listened to some music about flying, this is a lot like that. And we did look at tunes like Fly Like an Eagle, all those pop tunes that do that. So it really varies from year to year. And I love the shows that incorporate both classical music and pop music, because I think they give something more for the audience to listen to. And I do try to think about what the audience reaction is going to be. And the great thing about this concept that we have for this year, Flight 2021, is most people in the audience have probably flown on an airplane, or enough that they understand what we're trying to get across. So one of the things we want to do is we want to simulate having turbulence in the air. Another thing we want to do is we want to have people, some of our members dressed up like stewards or stewardesses on the plane and stuff like that. It just all depends on social distancing. But we're going to have sound bites that come over the speakers that say, like you do, please fasten your seatbelt, stuff like that. those kind of things. So, that's the kind of stuff that we're looking to try and evoke in our show this year.
That's cool. I love that you have such a higher concept of not just putting marching music out there, but you put a whole show together. That's really cool. I have two more questions for you, but before we get to them, I'd like to show another clip from that same video we saw, which was done this last fall semester, correct?
Right. Yeah, that was difficult to put together, but it was a great situation.
Can you just tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll watch it, and then we'll come back and wrap up.
Sure. The original concept was that we were going to do a show about Scheherazade, Rimsky-Korsakov, Scheherazade telling stories, but then COVID hit, or the pandemic hit, and we had to change. And we thought we wanted to put on a show of a piece of music that was really uplifting. So this Wave the Flag actually comes from FIFA. It was written for the international soccer tournament, and this piece really is talking about all the teams coming together and waving their flags in the spirit of friendly competition and everybody there. So we wanted to do this, trying to tell people from KU and beyond, like, don't give up. This is a pandemic. It is a blip. We'll get through this. You got to stay strong and all those things. And then you'll see the students waving the flags. Those were words that we had the students come up with that we thought would try to evoke that sense of positivity. And that's where this comes from.
Cool. So let's just take another look. Nice.
Yeah, it's really great. And if you don't mind me, I do a little shameless plug here.
Go.
If people are interested in seeing more, we've got more videos on our actual webpage. We have a webpage, www.kumubears.com. And then we also have a Facebook website, a Facebook site and an Instagram site. If people want to look us up, if they want to do a search, there it is right there, www.kumubears.com. And then our Facebook site and also our Instagram account as well. We try to pump out some media, and it's a great way for people to find out about what we're doing. So
cool. That was one of the two questions I had for you. So that's great. And actually, I'll tag on to that. If someone's interested, if someone's watching from high school, or a parent that knows that their child coming to college wants to get involved, how do they find out? I mean, is there an audition process? Is there,
they can send an email to me directly if they want to. My email address is neuenschwander@kutztown.edu. That they can do that. They can go to the www.kumubears.com and they can send an email to me through that way. They can get a hold of us through Facebook. They can get a hold of us through Instagram.
Okay.
And we do have auditions, like I said, for the drumline and color guard. And then we have this other thing called a hearing, where the students just have to make a video so that we can assign them what parts to play. As an example, with trumpets, because I know Christina's with you, and she's a trumpet player. Who plays first trumpet? Who plays second trumpet? Who plays third trumpet? So on and so forth.
Okay. Cool. So we kind of answered the second question first, but where can people see you in person? You mentioned that you play at the football games, the home football games. I believe you play at some of the away games too, correct?
Yep. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I think there's a few other places. I heard you might do festivals or competitions in normal years. And are there other sporting events or other places that you guys might be seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. What we do, like you said, we do play for all the home football games. We usually do play for one away football game. With the pandemic, I don't know what's going to happen. I know budgets are also going to be tighter this year because of the pandemic situation. So we might not have as much money to travel. But we also play this huge event every year in Allentown called the Collegiate Marching Band Festival. If people are interested, they could just Google Collegiate Marching Band Festival, Allentown, Pennsylvania. And that's a great situation to go to. That is just us, but that's like about 20 to 23 colleges from around the East Coast that come and perform there. We play at regional high school competitions as well. We play an exhibition. We are hopefully going to play at Cedar Creek. I forgot, in Lebanon. I can't remember. Is it Cedar Creek?
I don't know.
It's okay. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's blanking on.
We'll have to follow the social media and see. So I'm sure we'll learn on there.
Everything is listed on our websites, and I'm sorry, I can't remember all this.
No, it's great. That's great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Dan, for telling us about Kumu, and I'm excited to actually see you guys in person when that gets to be an opportunity. You start up in August, right before the university comes back?
Yeah, we'll start. For us, band camp starts August 16th. For some students, we do it in stages. We roll. People come in, but everybody should be here basically by August 16th, It's either August 19th or August 20th. I can't remember. I think it's the 20th. Everybody will be here. We'll be learning drill. Of course, that's provided nothing changes with the pandemic. So that's what we're hoping for. We're praying for, crossing fingers.
What are your feelings? Forget the pandemic a second, but just under normal circumstances for people to come out and just listen to you guys practice and doing these drills.
Oh, we love it. And we love to have people come out and watch. Especially, we love having alumni come back out to the field. If it's an alumni who I know personally, I will take time to actually introduce them to the band and tell the band a little bit about them and stuff like that. So to me, it really is about family, and the more people we can have out there to see and celebrate, the better off it is.
Well, that's fantastic. Thanks for taking time to chat with us today, and I'll see you around.
Thank you very much for the invitation. You have a great week, okay?
You too. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Dan. Bye. Thank you all for tuning in today. And again, if you didn't participate in the comments during the live part of the program, you're welcome to go back and put comments in if you're watching the recording, and we'll try to get back to those and answer you if we can. I want to thank Dr. Daniel Neuenschwander for being our guest today. And I also want to let you know next week, we're speaking with Drs. Willis Rapp and Frank Kumor about the new and exciting Center for Mallet Percussion Research, which is going to be opening up here at KU in the near future. And until then, I am Brian Zelmer, coming to you from our green room today and every Wednesday live at 4 p.m. Eastern from the green room.